I'd like to welcome everyone to the Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022 special session of the Richmond Community Board of Trustees. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We could have the reading of the mission and vision.
Richmond Community Schools guide students on pathways of learning to a future of limitless possibilities.
The mission statement of Richmond Community Schools is a community nurturing mind, body, and spirit to prepare students for lives of choice, purpose, and service.
Thank you both. Mrs. Claypool, how many folks do you have?
6.
We can go 5 minutes, that'll be fine. I'll read a statement. Under public comment, the Board of School Trustees recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on corporation matters. The board wants to ensure that the public feels welcome and that the concerns are answered in a timely, efficient manner. Maximum time for individual speakers is 5 minutes per person. The board expects personal decorum and factual information from the speaker. The president reserves the right to interrupt the speaker when the statement is too lengthy, personally directive, abusive, and obscene, or if it interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. Comments recognizing the work of staff and students are always welcome. However, critical remarks concerning specific school personnel or students are to be made through the complaint process available in policy 8130. School board members do not respond to public comments during the meeting. The public participant will receive a personal follow-up email from the board president within a week. Thank you. Mrs. Claypool? Oh, Mr. Cross?
Just for clarification for the record, before we get into the public comment, can I have the minutes reflect the status of Member Stoltz's attendance? Is she here or is she absent?
She's not logged in, correct, Mrs. Claypool?
She's not logged in, so she's
So
out.
she is absent.
Okay, I just wanted that clarified because unless you were able to be seen and heard in real time, we couldn't count her as present, we couldn't have her vote. But you're free, and that means your votes don't have to be by roll call.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Claypool.
Okay, Emily, sure.
Hello. I'm speaking on behalf of Mary Ann Avery because she is unable to be here tonight. And this was an email that she had sent to Dawn Sonsini and Cassie Laudermilk. She says, I listened to your presentation last week. The STEAM initiative sounds amazing. I look forward to you growing that program. However, I do not see the need to dissolve early college at the middle school level. It sounded like not accepting incoming 6th graders would be enough to make room for the renovations and allowing the current early college students to complete their early college experience. Hibbard houses logos and applied skills. I also encourage you to make room for the students in applied skills to be included in a modified curriculum and figure out what the criteria might be within the lottery. Thanks for all you do. And I would also like to add that we have amazing educators who do amazing work with our early college program. And early college prepares these kids for life at the high school in ways unlike others. And while the STEAM initiative is going to be awesome, I agree, the early college program is essential to those students that it serves. And I do so hope that early college remains part of Richmond Community Schools. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amanda Mull.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond belief. Mary Ann Williamson. Tonight, I'm not here to speak to the board. No offense. I'm here to remind some phenomenal people who work as early college teachers that they are more. This year, I have watched you leave STEAM meetings with tears in your eyes because it's not a job to you. It's a calling. It's a passion. Over the years, I was constantly reminded that my children are not just mine. They all carry pieces of these amazing teachers who never gave up on them. My oldest carried that with him and came back to Hibbard for cadet teaching his senior year for one more life lesson. He is now successfully employed, and I have no doubt will pour into others the same way that you all poured into him. It's hard to put into words how these teachers love. Today, I'm in the educational system with RCS because you all inspire me. You showed me how to look beyond a person and see the gold. You showed up in all the little ways that most people do not see. Quietly paying for students who can't afford field trips and finding clothing for students who are in need. So tonight, no matter the decision that echoes through these walls, know that your impact, it cannot be measured. You are powerful beyond belief. Thank you.
TM McCargish. Hi everyone. So I actually had like kind of a serendipitous thing happen to me on my like way here. So I came here early and I went to Ulri's, my favorite ice cream place. I don't go there very often because it's overpriced, but sorry, it's very worth it. But I don't have the money to go there often. And I see one of my students and she's standing there and she's like, Miss McCargish, what are you doing here? And I said, oh, I'm just here in Richmond. I'm going to go to the school board meeting later. And she said, oh my gosh, are they still getting ready to get rid of early college? And I said, wow, I didn't know that like the community knew all that stuff going on. So I talked to her a little bit and she's like, yeah, I heard about it from a friend and it's like all over Facebook. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Well, that's there now. I'm gonna go back to that part. So I just thought it was so interesting. Like this kid who I don't think is the most plugged in, like kind of knew about the early college thing. And like she's upset that it's going to go away. She never went to early college. But some of her friends did. And she knows how important it is for them. So that wasn't even going to be part of my speech until that happened today. And then she also knew about the health insurance thing. And I'm like, wow, like the community knows about this. And kind of, she didn't seem like super enthusiastic. She's like, so are you going to speak? And I'm like, yeah, you should totally check me out. And she's like, I'm going to be working. I think that was like her way of saying, I'm not going to watch the school board meeting with some Margish. But I'm basically just up here. I know I'm saying like things that I might have already said before, and you guys already heard some of this stuff, but I'm going to keep saying it until I feel like decisions are being made based off of what we as the community are feeling, thinking, saying, because, you know, as the board of trustees and as public servants, we are all here to like serve humbly our community. And sometimes we have to think like outside of ourselves and what's good for what we think for ourselves, and think what's good for the kids, what's good for the teachers, what's good for everybody in this community. And based off of like the outpouring that I've seen in the community, I just feel like not going forward with a strong plan with Hibbard, and kind of leaving some teachers like out on a limb. I feel like them not knowing where they're gonna go next year. Some of them, I feel like it's just, you know, one, it just feels kind of cold and callous and not the kind of thing that I see, you know, we are Richmond standing for. And just another thing is I want to make sure that we're always putting the community instead of ourselves first. Just know that like all these people that are coming up and talking, I don't know if I'm doing something, all the people that are coming up and like talking, they're doing it from the heart, and we really want like the best for everybody here. Last week, our meeting several weeks ago, and we really had the house packed. Well, it was called like theatrics, and I just want you guys to know, like, even if it seems theatrical, what we're doing, what we're saying, anything like that, all of this is from the heart, and it really affects us. It affects the whole community, and I just wanted to, you know, have that heard again, and I hope you guys make the choice that the community wants and that we all want. And I hope that whatever choice you make, that we become stronger from. Thank you, guys. Scott.
Good evening, school board members,
central office staff. My name's Adam Scott. I have been an active member in Richmond, in the Richmond community for over 25 years. I've been teaching for over 20 years. All but 2 of those years have been here at RCS. I know many of you personally. I have been to your house playing cards. I've ran and rode bikes with you. I've rode motorcycles with you. I've gone to church with you. I've been parts of community fundraisers with you. But I come before you tonight telling you that I never thought I would leave RCS. But now, honestly, I'm not so sure I can stay. On December 15th, Dennis Intermediate School was informed that we were losing our principal and assistant principal. Their positions were immediately posted, and the following day, after a long conversation with Mr. Laudermilk, I decided to apply for the assistant principal's position. The very next morning, December 17th, on my way to work, I received a call from Richmond Community Schools. You can imagine my anticipation as I believed they were calling to schedule an interview with me. To my surprise, I was told that I was moving across town and being reassigned as a 6th grade teacher. When I asked why, there was really no answer given other than I was to report there when I returned from break. Now, mind you, this is the last school day before Christmas break. I spent my break packing and moving my things, wondering what I had done wrong to be reassigned. Feel free to go back and look at my prior evaluations. All of them have been effective and a majority highly effective. I've done everything I was asked by building level and district administrators. And honestly, it made my break a living hell. On January 4th, I returned to test after break, and the superintendent requested a meeting with me. I thought it was to talk about why I was moved, but instead it was to tell me that they had already had things in place prior to the assistant principal's job posting, and he apologized for not having an interview with me. When I inquired about why I had been moved, he didn't have an answer. He acted as if he had no idea that I had been moved, which I knew was not truthful. He said he would look into it, and I never heard back from him. About a week later, after originally being told that I wasn't going to be replaced at Dennis, on January 13th, my old job was posted. You can imagine my surprise and disgust. I was encouraged by the superintendent to reapply for my old job, guaranteeing me an interview, which never happened. On January 31st, the REA president and I requested a meeting with him. It wasn't until 2 weeks later that we received a response from him stating that he would be available on Friday, February 18th. Almost 3 weeks after our request. The first 90 minutes of that meeting was me asking questions and receiving absolutely no answers. No reason was given as to why I was moved from an instructional coach position into a teacher position. Although I was complimented several times on my strong work ethic and dedication to RCS. In the history of RCS having instructional coaches, never has an instructional coach been moved when there's been a change in building level leadership. That's not only a past practice, but it's also a current practice. When our current superintendent took responsibility of our district, he kept the district coaches in place. I challenge you to find me an example of when this has happened within RCS prior to my circumstance. The lack of giving no answer or reasoning for my move made it clear that my move was a personal retaliation. I expressed the reasons why I felt it was personal, including detailed events of things that have happened in the past. I expressed those to the superintendent as well as to one of the board members. The responses I received were, "You've given me something to think about." And the board, from the board's perspective, she's getting things done. You're right, they are getting things done. They're chasing veteran teachers and administrators away from RCS. As of this afternoon, there were 37 openings for teachers and administrators. And if things don't change, you will see more valuable veteran teachers and educators leaving this area. Just because you get advice doesn't mean that it's good advice. I challenge each one of you to evaluate who it is that you are listening to and truly think about the decisions you are making instead of simply voting 7-0 on everything. In closing, I'll leave you with this age-old saying: all things that glitter aren't gold. Don't find yourself getting caught holding fool's gold, because by then she's already made a fool of you.
Lily Benson.
Hi, my name is Lily, and I'm going to be the art teacher at Hibbard at the Hibbard Program Building next year. When I accepted this position, I was under the impression that I would be working with logo students, early college students, and applied skills students. This will be my second year as an educator and my second year as an educator in the school system. Initially, this position was incredibly exciting for me because I knew of all of the challenging and uplifting work that happens in all three programs, because as a student, I was able to witness all programs in action. As a teaching artist, it is important for me that I'm able to provide a creative outlet for students. Working with the early college students was something I was looking forward to doing because I was excited to create projects with them that would impact them outside of the classroom, and work with their teachers who are so dedicated to each student's learning, as well as help them develop a creative relationship with the world around them. I believe the elimination of early college is a turn towards a more divided community, and a decision that I am ashamed that my community made without the solution to support the displaced students and staff. The decision to eliminate early college was a decision to eliminate a program dedicated to equitable education. While I was not a student of the program, many of my friends are and were, and they are reaching such high goals in their lives as adults. I believe there is more the school board can be doing to retain the program at a middle school level, and there are brilliant educators in the district that can and did build a program like early college. It's a shame that you continue to ignore their suggestions. While the STEAM initiative is exciting, I am very worried that it will be another program for students who already have the time and resources to succeed. We are eliminating one equitable program. We must make sure the next program we build serves that purpose. We should be investing our time as a school system into finding ways to support all students, especially those on the margins. I'm interested in how teachers and community stakeholders wanting to help in developing the STEM program will be involved. Who is the STEM program going to serve? How are you going to make sure the STEM or STEAM initiative is not classist? And how are you going to make sure it serves all students, including the applied skills students? As an art teacher and a community member, I'm committed to giving all of my students the opportunity to succeed and meet them where they are at to do so, but I can only reach the kids that really need a creative outlet if they are in the building.
Lisa Felsman.
Good evening. I'm Lisa Felsman. I'm the mother of Naomi, who is a rising junior, and also the newly elected Richmond Music Boosters president. And wanted to let you know that this year we have 19 more marchers than we did last year, and we're super excited about that. We want to give a big shout out and thanks to Terry Bettner's work, because he is such a phenomenal encourager and supporter of young people, and very excited to have so many 8th graders. I believe we have a record number of 8th graders who have joined in for marching band this year. I had the pleasure of traveling as the bus chaperone mom with the Winter Guard International this past spring, and got to see what a life learning lab it is to be in the bus and doing music together for hours and hours and hours, and waiting and going through all of the motions, and just am in awe of our music teachers and all the good stuff that they give to the young people that they serve. So we have marching band camp next week. We're a little concerned about the lack of air conditioning that will be in the building next week. I know the kids will have 12 to 14-hour days, and just want to give a shout out to our band directors for their resilience and trying to make that work even though we won't have air conditioning. Also wanted to welcome each one of you to come out to the ice cream social, which will be July 31st. We would love to have you. And if you would like to follow the Music Boosters page, it's Richmond Music Boosters, and more information will be shared on that as July 31st gets closer. Thank you.
Moving on to item 3, consent item. Dr. Wright.
President Weber, trustees, I come before you now for approval. Consent items 3.01 and 3.02, as well as the.
Make a motion to approve the consent items as presented.
Motion by Jeff Schleifer,
Second.
second by Aaron Stevens. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Moving on to action items. Agenda item 4, Dr. Wright.
President Weber, trustees, I come before you this evening with a recommendation from our educational working group. On Monday, June 20th, our educational working group met with Hibbert Principal, Mrs. Cassie Loudermilk, early college program teachers, and Richmond Education Association leaders to discuss early college program options for the 22-23 school year. Throughout our collaborative processes, all parties were afforded an opportunity to cordially voice their concerns and supports regarding the direction of the program. Collectively, we felt that the experience was constructive and everyone was appreciative to have had the chance to share valuable input and feedback. On behalf of the Educational Working Group, we recommend that for the 2022-2023 school year, our early college program remain in place there at Hibbert for grades 6 through 8. This recommendation will allow early college program faculty, staff, students, and stakeholders time to prepare for the program's dissolvement at the conclusion of the 2022-2023 academic year. Those early college program faculty, staff, and students will then have an opportunity to apply to the Richmond Community Schools STEM initiative that our corporation is committed to further developing. President Weber, trustees, it is our recommendation that you approve the early college program option as presented for the 2022-2023 school year.
Thank you, Dr. Wright.
So moved.
Motion
I
by-
move to approve, excuse me. I move to approve the recommendation as presented.
Motion by Aaron Stevens,
Second.
second by Kristen Brunton. Any questions or comments? Mr. Schleifer?
I'm going to be consistent with my vote tonight. I respect the process and I'm fine with that, but we really have been over this quite a bit. I know for at least 3 years we've had a discussion. And, when I look at the success of what we want our kids to be able to do, the few tenets of that program that still are alive should be in both of our middle schools already. We should already be encouraging them to, learn and be in small groups. The major parts of that program has been gone for years. High school program is not even anywhere close. I mean, it's not even in existence. What bothers me about this is I feel like we're still kicking the can down the road for a year. Because at the end of next year, then you're going to have the 7th and 8th graders that are going to be displaced. And the same argument holds true next year. You're going to put a 7th grader in the Hibbert building for 1 year, and then you're going to move them to Dennis for 1 year, then you're going to move them to the high school. So had the recommendation came in that we were going to keep the 8th graders, but go ahead and move the 6th and 7th graders so they could have their full time at Dennis, I probably would have supported that. But I have just spent so much time involved with this that I cannot sit here honestly and say that I feel like we're making the best decision in the interest of the students. We may be for a few people, a handful of people, but I've been through closing school buildings, closing programs. I've been through all of that. And, we're not doing justice for our kids. So I respect the process and I'll support it if the vote goes that way. But I just felt like that when my vote comes out, you'll know why. So.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Just that I appreciated the process that we went through in making this decision. think we can all acknowledge that the timeline was really flawed, but the process, my hope is that as we continue and make continued decisions and things like that, that we can push that process forward, have fix the timeline piece, but continue to do and have that process look the way it looked to come to this recommendation. Getting lots of folks at the table, having conversations about what this looks like, how it benefits. I guess what I would say, Jeff, to your point is, I think in my mind, the way I feel okay about that is that now I have the option as that student. If I'm the parent and a child, I can have the conversation and decide, do I want to go ahead and make the choice to not do the final year at early college so then I can have 2 years at Dennis versus 1. It allows folks a little more choice in that matter rather than just abruptly pulling that out. Again, fully acknowledging the timeline has not been what I think any of us would want it to be, but I was pleased with the conversation. We had lots of folks at the table who were involved. We could hear their ideas, their concerns, and I feel pretty good about the recommendation.
Thanks. Mr. Stevens.
Monday's education committee or education working group meeting was probably one of the more interesting, fun, worthwhile ones that I've attended. I've been a part of for a long time. And with all the people who were here, the educators, the board members, those people who are directly affected by it, I am very, very comfortable with siding with the recommendation as it is. I like the fact that it gives a year for families and students to prepare themselves for what will be an inevitable change as we move forward, and maybe even to a greater change. But I think it allows a reinvigoration and motivation of families, parents, and especially students in preparation for an upcoming year that until now may have been a complete uncertainty. So I'm in support of the recommendation.
I will echo, having been on the board, on the education working group, just having the communication with the teachers was vital. And that's something we've acknowledged that, we need to work on, and that's why these working groups will continue that Dr. Wright has set up. And that's what, his vision is, that, all stakeholders are part of these meetings so that we can hear, from the administrators and the teachers and the community, and we can better understand. And I guess I would agree with the timeline that we are, it's summer, school's just around the corner. Got my welcome back letter today from Ray Wolpe for the high school for my daughter. So, I know it's right there. And we need to afford these families and staff some time to prepare. So to me, this recommendation allows that 1 year to make those decisions as needed.
I was just going to mention that one of the other things that we did talk about at the working group was the need for that more of a cohort, small group piece in those other schools, and we had some conversation about what does that look like? How can we help that take place in the other buildings?
Yeah, I think Test and Dennis are getting bad names out of this because it's always that school or that bothers me a lot. So, but I'm glad that I'm happy with the process.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to throw tomatoes at anybody. It's just that I felt like I have to go to sleep at night with what I feel is the right choice. And I respect where you guys are at.
Again, it was just a very powerful meeting, and I keep looking over there. I don't care if it's for the board goal or the chart that was up there with all the pros with very few cons. but more importantly, it was a collective reasoning between the number of people who were here at this table that were putting out ideas and weighing everything. And in the end, again, going back to a model that is going to maybe create those silos at Denison Test in the future of success, I think, again, this opportunity for a year of preparation will strengthen those opportunities, not just for the following year, but for years to come. So,
All right. Anyone have anything else? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
I
All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-1. Moving on, before we adjourn, oh, Mr. Slater, did you have?
No, I'm good. I said all I had to say.
Thank you all for the work on that. Before we adjourn, does anyone else have anything else to go to the cause?
I would like to apologize to those early college folks who we've been kind of hanging you out there for way too long. So my apologies for that. We'll hope to get better.
Dr. Ray, did you have anything before we adjourn?
Just to echo and definitely concur what has already been stated, as was mentioned on Monday, as has been mentioned in past practice, especially with the strategic goal as will be presented during our next meeting. The goal of becoming that professional learning organization with and exercising implementing such a vision with fidelity. It starts with collaboration, starts with objectivity and cordial interaction. That as we move down the road, I think Monday was just a great foundational start as to what everyone can expect, especially with my brand of leadership and what I've only ever known in this profession. And so I'm excited, as always, and optimistic that the best days are in front of all of us, and we will continue to put our best feet forward, learning from all of those great successes of the past and maintaining those best practices that have indeed stood the test of time. And so I'm extremely excited for the students as well as the faculty and staff that continue to selflessly serve in our district daily.
All right. Thank you. There is a chance the July meeting could be moved, so just an FYI, be looking out for that. I know we have the prospective board member meeting in July, so that may have to change as well. But we have committed to having such a meeting. So just watch your calendars, and I appreciate everyone coming. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
35 minutes.